This is the episode I've been building toward. The first 4 episodes of the series were mostly diagnostic. They gave you a framework, they named patterns, they asked hard questions. But this one's different because the goal of everything I've been sharing in this series has never been to make parents afraid of technology. The goal is formation, and formation done well does eventually produce a teenager who is ready. So today, I want to give you something constructive. 6 specific markers, what you're watching for, and the part most parents are not expecting, how much of your teenager's readiness depends on you. I'm Dr. Lembusita. I study adolescent identity formation. This is the final episode of a 5-part series on phones, teenagers, and formation. And if you're just finding this, welcome. This episode stands on its own, but the whole series gives you the full framework. If you've been searching for signs your teenager is ready for phone, or what phone readiness actually looks like in practice, or how to model good phone habits for your kids, this episode has the most specific answers of the whole series. Here is the most important reframe of this entire episode. Readiness is not a verdict you issue. It's something you build, which means the question isn't just, is my teenager ready? The question is also, what am I building? And am I doing it intentionally? The markers I'm about to give you are not a checklist you run through once and declare a verdict. They are formation observations, things you look for over time in ordinary life before the phone conversation becomes urgent. Here are the 6 readiness markers. Marker 1, they can handle a limit without it becoming a crisis. Not perfectly, not without any frustration, but when you say no or not yet or time is up, do they recover? Do they regulate? Or does every boundary escalate into a battle that doesn't resolve? The capacity to accept the limit is a formation outcome. It tells you whether there's enough self-governance present to carry more access. Marker 2, they can tell you the truth when it costs them something. A phone creates hundreds of daily opportunities for secrecy. A teenager who can tell you something inconvenient, admit they got something wrong, or come to you when they're in trouble rather than hiding it, they have the interior integrity that digital access requires. Honesty under pressure, not just honesty when it's easy. Marker 3, they can tolerate boredom without immediately escaping it. This one surprises parents, but it's one of the most important markers. A smartphone is designed to eliminate every quiet moment, but boredom is where reflection happens. It's where the interior space that identity formation requires gets created. An adolescent who cannot sit with a single unoccupied moment is not ready for a device engineered to make sure they never have to. Marker 4, they take care of what they already have. Look at stewardship in ordinary life. Commitments, belongings, responsibilities, their word. How are they handling what they currently have? A smartphone is not a reward for wanting one. It's a layer of responsibility that should sit on top of demonstrated stewardship, not replace it. Marker 5, the relationship between you and your teenager can hold a hard conversation. This is the one parents most underestimate, and it's possibly the most important. If you and your teenager can disagree without the relation fracturing, that matters. If they believe they can bring you something hard and you won't panic, overreact, or shut it down, that matters even more. Because a phone is going to introduce hard things. The teenager who believes their parent can handle the conversation is in a fundamentally different position than the one who's learned to hide things because the relationship can't hold it. Strong relationship is not a nice to have. It's the formation infrastructure. It's the formation foundation. Marker 6, some interior stability is forming. Not a finished identity, not certainty about everything, but some beginning of groundedness. Things they genuinely care about, not just what their friend group values. Something they believe that they've actually thought about. A teenager with some interior stability can enter the digital world and use it. A teenager with very little can be shaped by it faster than they can interpret what is happening. Some groundedness, some ownership, some beginning of a self that's actually theirs. Now, I want to talk about something that almost never comes up in conversations about teen phone readiness. Your teenager is not forming the relationship with technology in a vacuum. They are forming it by watching you. The way you use your phone is formation data, not what you say about phone use, but what you actually do with your phone use. Every time you pick it up in the middle of a conversation, you're teaching something about what gets priority. Every time you reach for it in a moment that there's a quiet second, you're demonstrating what adults do with discomfort. And every time you scroll absent-mindedly while sitting in the same room, you're modeling what presence looks like. Man, don't I know about this? And every time you put it down intentionally, face down at dinner when your teenager is talking, you are teaching that too. Children learn emotional regulation primarily by being near adults who regulate well. They watch you, you model it for them. Now, that's not a parenting opinion. That's how emotional development actually works. Co-regulation before self-regulation. And it starts when they're 2 years old. It starts even before that, which means the most powerful thing you can do to build your teenager's readiness for a phone is to be intentional about your own relationship with yours. Not perfect, intentional. They don't need a parent who never looks at their phone. They need a parent who has a visible, honest, regulated relationship with their device. A parent who can name when they're using it and why, who can put it down, who doesn't need it to fill every quiet moment. That is modeling, and modeling is formation. Strong communication is the infrastructure. Everything in the series keeps coming back to one principle. The less mentoring present, the greater the risk. And mentoring requires a relationship strong enough to hold real conversation. So I want to ask you a direct question. Does your teenager believe you can handle what they actually think? Not what they say for approval, what they actually think. And if the answer is yes, you have the infrastructure for everything else. Now, if the answer is no, no phone policy is going to substitute for it. Strong communication is not built on one conversation. It's built on 1,000 small conversations. Being present when they're not saying anything important, so they believe you'll be present when they are. Asking questions without agendas, staying curious when they surprise you, repairing when you get it wrong. That kind of relationship keeps you in the conversation when the hard things come up online. And it's providing something no parent control app can replicate. Now, here are 4 practical steps to start building now. Not all at once, but just the starting point. Watch your phone habits for 1 week before making any decisions about your teenager's access. Not to judge yourself, but to see clearly what you're actually modeling. You may be surprised. Have one honest conversation with your teenager about your phone, not theirs. Tell them what you're trying to be more intentional about and why. That conversation does more formation work than a rule ever could. It models self-awareness and it's an open door. Create one shared family norm that applies to everyone, including you. Phones off at dinner, no devices in bedrooms after a certain hour. Pick something sustainable and follow it yourself first. When the parent follows the rule, it stops being a rule and it starts being a value. If you're given a phone for the first time, give it as a process, not an event. Start with limited functions. Add access as stewardship is demonstrated. Be explicit about why. This is a responsibility that grows when you show me you can carry it. That framing changes the whole relationship between the teenager and the device. So what does readiness actually look like? It looks like a teenager who can handle a limit, tell the truth, tolerate boredom, take care of what they have, and bring a hard thing to the relationship without it fracturing. It looks like a parent who models a regulated, intentional relationship with their own device. It looks like communication strong enough to hold the honest conversation. And it looks like a home where formation has been happening, not perfectly, but consistently for a long time. Readiness is not a verdict you issue, it's something you build. And the building starts long before the phone question comes up, which means if you're here thinking it's already too late, It isn't. You can start building now in how you use your phone today, in the conversations you have tonight, in the limit you hold calmly instead of making it a fight. Formation is always in process. The question is whether you're intentional about it. So that's it. 5 episodes, one framework. The phone is not the point. Formation is the point. And formation, if it's going to happen, needs adults who understand what it is, what it requires, and what the role in it actually is. That is what the series has been about. And thanks for hanging in there and watching. Now, if you still haven't taken the free assessment, you can go to identityspecialist.net/assessment. I'm going to add the link in the description, but take the assessment tool. It's free. It only takes 5 minutes and it tells you what the identity status of your teenager is. You could also take it for yourself if you'd like. I'd love for you to leave a comment. What's the one thing from this series that changed how you think about your teenager and their phone? Or maybe your own phone? I want to hear about it. Please leave a comment. And then last, please share the series with a parent who needs it. The formation conversation doesn't happen enough, and you can be the one who starts it. Now, once again, thanks for checking it out. Thanks for watching this episode. And as always, please never forget, be unique, but belong.